Yo, what is going on, guys? Savage here. Today we're going to be covering the SCUF IMPACT. This will be my third and my final review on this controller. One, mostly because, well, there's not much more I can say about it, and two, mostly because I just gave up on this pile of shit. Now, if you guys have not seen my first two videos, I will link those in the description below. They're all well worth the watch. The first one kind of shows my hype behind the controller and how excited I was. I was only about 1 month in on a review, and the second one was 6 months later, and it really showed my frustration. But we're gonna lay everything out right here, make this a one and done video for anybody looking to buy the SCUF IMPACT or any other SCUF controller for that matter. Now, we're gonna be covering a lot of things. One of my favorite things, the digital triggers. If you guys are curious about digital triggers and how it will help your gameplay, this is the video for you. Also be covering the paddles. We're gonna be comparing paddles with other controllers that I've used, also the designs of controllers and the longevity of the controllers as well. So if this concerns you at all, sit down, relax. I'm gonna make this clean cut and as simple as possible. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and throw the YouTube jargon in here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Anyway, guys, back to the normal stuff. SCUF IMPACT controller. As you guys can see, I have two of them, one for each video that I did prior. Now this could be a combination of both. As you can see by my tone, I'm a little irritated. I'm a little let down. But before we get into the negatives, let's talk about the positives, because despite how I feel about this controller, there are a lot of positives about it, and there's a lot of hope for SCUF in the end. First and foremost, I want to talk about the feel of the controller and how the controller is laid out. Now, of course, this only refers to the SCUF IMPACT. That's what the video is going to focus on. The feel of this controller is absolutely phenomenal. It's probably my favorite feeling controller that I've ever used. I'm a former Xbox player. I'm a newer PlayStation player. This is kind of a combination of both. It's got a wider feel like an Xbox controller, but it's got the layout of a PlayStation controller. Would you look at that? This is the positive part of the video. Let's get into the positive. Stay on subject. All right, so back to the positives. Another positive is the customization on this controller and all the other SCUF controllers is, in my opinion, better than any other company. If you go to their website and you look at their website and you compare it with other websites as well, they are by far ahead of the game with no competition. A lot of people in the comment sections of my other videos have been recommending different controllers. I'm not going to mention those names, but when I went to their website, SCUF has the easiest website to navigate. They have the best animations for customization, and as you're customizing your controller, it actually shows you what your controller looks like live, so you don't have to just guess. Other controllers, you kind of had to guess a little bit, and it just wasn't worth. But as far as setting up the controller, ordering the controller and all that, 10 out of 10 service. I love the way their UI was on their website. It was absolutely just a seamless, easy transaction, and it shipped pretty quickly. Another positive about the controller, and this is my favorite thing, is their paddle layout. Now, I've used a lot of other paddles. I've used the new PlayStation adapter. I've used another controller that has buttons instead of paddles. I've used another attachment to a PlayStation controller that had paddles, and it was absolute garbage. This by far is the best, most comfortable, most natural feel of paddles. Now, as you can see how my hands rest, I only use 2 of the paddles, but adjusting just to get a little bit more use of paddles is not that hard. Now, another bonus to this controller is the digital triggers. If you guys see here, this is as much as I have to click ever. I love it. It emulates a mouse click. So if you're used to mouse clicks, mouse and keyboard, laptops, whatever you're doing, think about the click. It doesn't have that much range of motion. This is the exact same thing. Your range of motion is decreased 90% as opposed to a regular one. And I think it's 50% as opposed to like a trigger stopper or something. And we'll get in, I'll show you guys the difference between trigger stoppers and digital triggers, because there's a massive difference. Now, the pros of the digital triggers is if you're into shooting games, this is the fastest response trigger you will get, as opposed to something like this, where you have a little bit of throw. Your response time is way quicker. Digital triggers, I'm literally clicking the SCUF controller 3 times faster as opposed to a normal trigger. Now, here's the difference between trigger stoppers and digital triggers. Trigger stoppers isn't just a little click, it's just half the throw. So you still have a little bit of range of motion as opposed to that, right? Are you following? So still I can hit it maybe twice as fast. Now, another positive of this controller, as opposed to every other controller on the market as well, is how easy it is to rebind your keys. Little magnetic thing on the back, you hold down the paddle you want to bind, you hold down the button you want to bind it to, and then you let go. Boom, just like that, you're done. You can literally do it mid-match. It's beautiful, and it's the easy way to kind of feel. A lot of other things, you got to go into a program, you got to hit a button, unplug it, plug it back in your PlayStation or whatever system you're using, get a feel for it. Oh shit, I don't like that paddle button set up. Let me go back in, unplug it, plug it back into your computer, set it up. It's too much, it's too much, it's too much. As far as customization of the paddles, 10 out of 10, easy as hell. The response time on this controller is actually pretty well on console. However, if you're trying to play with it on PC, I don't know if it was me or not, or maybe it's my controller issues, because I've had a lot with this, but there seems to be a little latency latency on PC even when it's plugged in, but there was a little bit of delay. When I hit left on right stick, it was waiting like a couple milliseconds and then it would respond. It was kind of a pain in the ass. That's one of the reasons why I went back to mouse and keyboard. That's for a whole nother conversation. But response time on console for me is definitely 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, that is it for the pros part of this video. The website, good. Controller feel amazing. Paddles, amazing. Redoing the paddles, amazing. Now let's get into the flaws. Now again, we're trying to make this video short as possible, just kind of get all the messages across, but this is my first controller. This lasted a month and a half before it started having stick drift. Stick drift is a major issue when it comes to SCUF. It's all over Reddit, it's all over forums, it's all over streamers' faces. They know of their stick drift problem and they're not fixing their stick drift problem for whatever reason. Now, again, this lasted a month, and as you can see right here, it does this thing where it sticks. Now I've cleaned it out, I've filed down. There's a little line right here, you can see. I filed that down too because that was one of the causes, but basically I don't know what the hell they're doing, what's going on with their controller. It doesn't move, it's perfectly fine, but for whatever reason, if I move it in certain directions, it'll get stuck. Now that's not stick drift, that's just a whole nother feature in itself. The stick drift was bad. Basically, if you're a Call of Duty player, and I think most of you guys watching are probably Call of Duty players or played at some point, whether it's a main game or not, stick drift is a no bueno. This controller lasted about a month of pure just heavenly, then it tanked quick. As soon as I started getting stick drift, it got progressively worse real fast. At first it was vertical stick drift. You're just kind of like, as you're leading a target, it would kind of just keep going a little bit more than you wanted it to. And then something weird started happening. I'll be running and stuff and it would just shoot to the sky. Sometimes I'd be mid shooting and I would just aim to the sky for no fucking reason at all. I wouldn't hit up or anything. It would just do it on its own. Now I did send this controller in for a warranty repair and they did send it back, but we'll cover that at the end of the video because before I got that back, I had to purchase this one. The reason why I had to purchase this one is because I was involved into a $6,000 tournament for Blackout, for Black Ops 4, if you guys aren't familiar with what that is. And we ended up winning, thank God, because I got a new controller and I was able to play a little bit better. But right before the tournament, this started doing the same thing. Now this one lasted about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Can't remember the exact time frame. Again, if you want to see those videos of when I reviewed these controllers, link will be in the description below. But I started having issues with this real quick. And with this controller, I started seeing a difference. If you look at the thumbstick right there, unfortunately my camera can't focus. You'll notice the thumbstick is different colors in different places. That is actually the rubber melting off of the stick. Between the heat transferred from my thumb to the stick and pulling down and left and right and things like that, it actually just slowly disintegrates the sticks. Now, a lot of people in the comment section of other videos like, Savage, it's an easy fix, just swap out for PlayStation stick. It's no big deal, get control freaks, whatever the case may be. And yes, there are fixes for the sticks. This is the least of the concern. However, if I'm paying $250 to $350 for controller, I damn well best be getting the top of the line material that there is, especially since you want me to remove sticks from a $60 controller and put them on a $300 controller because they're better. I know there's a fix, guys. Don't worry about commenting on that. It's uncalled for though. If you're paying this much for controller, you should get top of the line everything. Now also, it is, and this is weird, it seems like the more you use different buttons, the more the buttons would have issues. So basically the buttons that I never really used, I never really had a problem with. I might use them here and there, and they just lasted for a long time. The other two buttons I've had an issue with is my X button and my square button. Now again, I had to think about that because I'm not a PlayStation player, but I think that's what that is. But anyway, my X button actually, you can't see it on camera unfortunately, but the X button's actually a little caved in and the square button just stopped working altogether. So when I was going to go loot in Blackout, again, if you're familiar with what that is, I was trying to loot, I would have to hit square to pick up the loot. And I ended up having to bind it to a paddle, which isn't a big deal, but when you've been playing with controllers hitting square the whole time, that muscle memory's there, and now you have to delay yourself and retrain yourself to hit it on a paddle. This paddle's my jump, this paddle's my slide, so now I had to change my entire layout to use a third paddle, which again is not a big deal, but for $350 or $250, depending on what you get, what variety you get, what variants you get, it's uncalled for. You should not have these issues with an expensive pro controller. So long story short, I ended up competing in a tournament. We won, but I did have issues with it. And thank God we won. Otherwise I really would have broke this in half. Now, after the tournament was done, I said, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm going to send in my controller for a warranty repair. Boom, bring back controller number one. Since that one was still kind of working a little bit and this one's completely shot, I decided to send this one back first. Now this one got sent off. This one got sent back. I can't remember the exact time, but It took a little over a month to get back. Now, it really wasn't a big deal to me because one, I was getting back on mouse and keyboard, and two, that controller was somewhat usable a little bit, kind of. So I really wasn't worried about it, but it did take a very long time to get back. Now shipping wise, I was a little upset. It's not a big deal. Shipping costs anywhere between $8 to $16, or even a little bit more if you live out of country. So shipping is not too pricey. However, when I did have Astro C40 problems with this controller, Astro paid for the shipping label. So all I had to do was go to the post office, hand them controller, they put it in a box, they packaged it, they wrapped it, so they sent it. It was the easiest transaction ever. This, you know, it's a very minute problem, but I feel like if your controllers are having that much problem and your controllers are this pricey, SCUF, pay for the shipping label. Now, when I got the controller back, it was almost like they didn't do anything. I don't understand it. It looked a little cleaner. I thought for a second they made her change the faceplate, but then I saw a couple scratches on it that I had left. It just seems like they just took the faceplate off, dusted the inside, put it back together, and shipped it back to me. Why it took a month, I don't know. They may have actually troubleshooted it and tried. I don't know. But when I got the controller back, it literally was good for about 2 days, and then that was it. So I think what they did was reset my sticks. Now, let's get into the fixes of this controller before the comment section becomes riddled with different fixes and people thinking that we're all idiots, right? So basically, there's one way you can fix the sticks: replace them. That doesn't really work against stick drift, but it will help your rubber. 2, now there's a way to reset your sticks. Now, I've done that hundreds of times, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. But when it does work, it's only for a short period of time. I think the longest I had it actually fixed was for about a week. When I reset the sticks, it actually had no stick drift for about a week. And that was, I believe, the first time I ever reset the sticks. And then, of course, the more I used it, the more I reset it, it was just less and less and less time to where basically it didn't work and didn't fix anything. Guys, it seems to me that SCUF just doesn't use quality parts. Whether they did before or after this video is irrelevant. The fact that they charged us so much money for mediocre parts. I mean, the rubber on the sticks melting is very, very minute, but something so simple and so cheap that they could, again, without losing that much money, just upgrade a little bit to give their customers what they pay for. The fact that the sticks are so garbage, they actually melt in your hand, that's an embarrassment to the company. And if you really want to take it apart and get technical and everything, those problems are way worse, and it just gets worse and worse and worse the more you dig into it. Guys, I definitely recommend you do not buy a SCUF. I love the SCUF. To me, it's the best feeling controller on the market. It's the best controller as far as the paddles is concerned on the market. It's the most easily programmed paddles on the market as well. There's a lot of benefits to this controller, but in my opinion, the cons do not outweigh the pros. Not in any sense of the imagination. So guys, I'm trying to cram so much information into one video just to keep this as short and sweet as I can for you guys, the viewers, so you guys can make an educated decision whether you want to buy the controller and have a good controller that feels really good and is easy to use and kind of risk the issues, or if you guys want to decide on a different controller, a different route, or wait for Corsair, who just acquired SCUF, and see if they make any changes to it to improve the quality of the controllers. Now, again, in my opinion, the cons outweigh the pros by far. I do not want to have a pro controller that I'm trying to use in competitive gaming go out on me. Period. Not within, I believe if you pay $300 for a controller, it needs to last you at least a full 365 days. Controller feels good. I love the paddles. I love the digital triggers. That's probably my favorite feature of the entire controller. However, dude, I do have faith in SCUF as far as upping their quality eventually. I think my goal of this video is not to create hate towards SCUF. It's not to put SCUF out of the business. Again, this is my favorite feeling controller. If this was to work for a full solid year at 8 to 12 hours a day, I would be absolutely ecstatic. I'd just love to see nothing more than SCUF upgrade their quality of parts, upgrade their customer support, update their quality control, and just become a better controller company. I think if they did that, there would be nobody in the ballpark of touching SCUF. Nobody. But as we sit right now, almost June of 2020, the controllers are still just a joke, honestly, an absolute joke. I've wasted so much money on different controllers, thousands of dollars on Xbox Elite controllers, on Astro C40s, on SCUF controllers, on just regular PlayStation. I've wasted so much money, guys. But fortunately for me, I get paid to play video games for a living. So it comes with the territory. The last thing I want is for you guys, the viewers, the guys that watch me, the guys that come to the channel and need advice, The last thing I want is for you guys to go out, spend $250 $350 on a controller and have it break on you within a week, a month, or if you're lucky, and there's going to be some of you in here that have had your controllers last a year, if you're lucky, last a year, and then be upset about it. There's no reason for a pro controller that costs that much money to have any of these issues. Maybe a little stick drift 9-10 months down the road, fine, excusable. The rubber on these sticks literally lasts no time at all. I play 8 to 12 hours a day when I was playing on this controller, and these sticks lasted me about a week and a half. So I would have to buy new sticks pretty regularly. Now, again, you can replace these sticks with PlayStation sticks. You can replace them with Control Freaks. You can do whatever you want to them, but you shouldn't have to. The principle of the whole thing is you're paying money for quality. Why would you have to change out an expensive controller's sticks with a stick from, you know, a PlayStation controller that costs $60? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I hope it doesn't make any sense to you guys. SCUF, anybody at SCUF, if you guys see his videos, please, guys, look, quality control. 3 things you guys can do to improve your controllers: quality parts, quality control, and rigorous testing. There's no testing with these controllers. If they say there's testing with these controllers, then they straight up sell us bullshit on purpose and they don't care. I don't want to believe that about SCUF. It is a business. Businesses are run by people who don't play games, but I would like to think the high road on this. I would like to think that they aren't aware of these issues, and that's one of the reasons why I'm putting out this video, to make you aware, to make them aware, and to hopefully improve the controller as a whole, so we can all get 2021 SCUFs and just be bomb as fuck with them. You know what I mean? But guys, again, look, I hope this video helps you decide whether you're going to buy the controller, whether you're not, whether you're going to wait, whatever the case may be. I hope this video helps you in some form or fashion. If it did, make sure you leave a comment section below. Let me know what troubles you've had with this controller. Let me know what controllers you guys recommend I buy and give reviews on, and I will do my best to give you guys reviews. But guys, have a good one, dudes. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're about to hit 30,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, dudes. Peace. Yo guys, what's going on? I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you follow us on Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you guys want some more content, man, check out one of these videos. I'm sure they're dope as fuck. Not sure what they are. YouTube, what's that one? And what is that one? I don't know. Click it and find out. Guys, follow us on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next video, boys. Peace.